you have the most liberal voting record of the congressional delegation in Wisconsin. And our own Craig Gilbert a year ago, using nonpartisan data, showed that you had the most liberal congressional voting record of any legislator from Wisconsin in the last 40 years. So doesn't your voting record give opponents a lot of ammunition when they characterize you as a liberal and too extreme for Wisconsin?
You know, I always find that so interesting because I think the word has lost all meaning. I suspect, well, I just want to go back to comparing the record during the Bush administration of my opponent and myself. He supported 2 Bush tax cuts, $1 trillion each, unfunded. He supported, as a part of the administration, 2 wars, $1 trillion each, unfunded. And under his stewardship of Medicare, he created the Medicare Modernization Act, unfunded. I want you to know I support strongly Medicare Part D, but I would have paid for it. And that's why I voted no, was because it was unfunded. You know, quick math, if you look at now that it's fully implemented, if you look at Medicare Part D moving forward, the unfunded liability for the next decade is between $700 and $800 billion. So it's the better part of $1 trillion policy also. David Walker, the Comptroller General of the United States at the time that was passed, said the most fiscally irresponsible policy since the 1960s. And that's pretty darn near a clear, quote. So whatever these outside groups are that make up lists of who's conservative and who's liberal, the 5 policies I just talked about, I voted to go to war in Afghanistan. I voted no on all the rest. I think the words have lost their meaning.
This is over a 40-year period, where we're going back and we're comparing you with Proxmire or Gaylord Nelson or whomever. So, I mean, that's the charge, is that you're too extreme, and then you have this record, again, based on nonpartisan voting data. Doesn't it lend some credence to their argument that you are not in the mainstream with the average Wisconsin voter?
Again, I don't know how one compiles. There's all sorts of outside. They may not be partisan groups, but there's all sorts of folks that make lists of, whatever it is they're trying to, whatever votes they want to collect. There's scorecards from about almost every group imaginable. I think that I am, as a champion of middle-class, hardworking families in this state, as somebody who's not afraid to stand up to powerful interests and take a stand, I think I'm very much in line with what the voters of this state want.